August 6th, 1945. Hiroshima. The sky was clear. The city was awake. Streetcars moved. Children walked to school. At 8:15 a.m., the United States ended one kind of war and quietly prepared for something far worse. Because Hiroshima and Nagasaki were not the end. They were the opening shots. What history books usually stop short of explaining is this. When the second atomic bomb fell on Nagasaki on August 9th, the United States already had more nuclear strikes planned. Targets were selected, timelines were drafted, crews were training, bombs were being assembled. America did not stop because it ran out of power. America stopped because Japan surrendered just in time. And if it hadn't, the nuclear destruction of Japan would not have ended at two cities. Before we go deeper, let me ask you something. If you're holding your phone right now or watching this on your screen, have you subscribed yet? If you haven't, do it now. Subscribe to World War II Dark Secrets. The common narrative says the atomic bomb was used twice to force surrender and save lives. That part is true, but it is incomplete. Behind closed doors, inside the War Department, within the Manhattan Project, American planners were already looking past Hiroshima and Nagasaki toward a future measured not in months, but in megatons. By August 1945, the United States was the richest, most industrially powerful nation in human history. Its factories had not been bombed, its cities were untouched, its scientists had just unlocked a force no civilization had ever controlled, and its military leadership was no longer asking if nuclear weapons could be used, but how many times. The third bomb was already on the way. The Manhattan Project did not end with Hiroshima. On the morning after the bombing, General Leslie Groves received reports confirming the weapon's success. His response was not celebration, it was calculation. Production schedules, uranium stockpiles, plutonium yields. There were more bombs coming. At Los Alamos, scientists were already assembling the core for a third atomic weapon. The plutonium had been refined. The design was nearly identical to the Nagasaki bomb. It was scheduled to be ready by late August 1945. If Japan did not surrender, it would be used. This was not speculation. This was policy. Target lists existed. Kyoto had been removed earlier for cultural reasons, but dozens of Japanese cities remained viable. Industrial centers, port cities, transportation hubs. The goal was no longer symbolic shock, it was systemic annihilation. American planners understood something chilling. Japan had no defense against nuclear attack, no radar warning, no interception capability, no retaliation. The United States held absolute power. Internal memos from the War Department revealed discussions of dropping atomic bombs every 10 days as production increased, not once, not twice, repeatedly, until surrender or until nothing remained worth governing. The fourth bomb was projected for September, the fifth for October. Each one would be stronger. At the same time, Operation Downfall, the planned invasion of Japan, loomed in the background. Casualty estimates ranged from hundreds of thousands to over 1 million American dead. Against that backdrop, nuclear escalation seemed not only acceptable, but humane. This is where the story turns darker, because the United States did not see atomic weapons as a last resort anymore. After Hiroshima, they were simply another tool, a devastating one, but efficient. President Truman later wrote that the bomb was used to shorten the agony of war. What he did not say publicly was that the United States was prepared to continue that agony with nuclear fire until Japan ceased to exist as a functioning nation. Japan's leadership was fractured. Some generals wanted to fight to the last man. Others knew surrender was inevitable, but feared dishonor. Hiroshima alone did not break them. Nagasaki alone did not break them. What broke them was the realization that America could keep going, and would. On August 10th, 1945, Japanese officials intercepted intelligence suggesting the United States had more atomic bombs ready. This information spread fear faster than radiation ever could, because it meant there was no end in sight. Unlike conventional bombing, nuclear attacks did not require air superiority or prolonged campaigns. One plane, one bomb, one city erased. American B-29 crews were already being briefed for follow-up missions. Special training units remained active. The atomic strike force was not stood down until surrender was confirmed. Meanwhile, scientists within the Manhattan Project argued among themselves. Some believed continued use would permanently poison humanity's future. Others believed restraint was irrelevant in total war. The military view prevailed. The United States had invested $2 billion, an astronomical sum at the time, into nuclear weapons. It was not about to hesitate. There was also another audience watching closely, the Soviet Union. Stalin had been informed of the atomic bomb at Potsdam. He pretended indifference. In reality, he ordered an immediate acceleration of the Soviet nuclear program. Hiroshima was not just a message to Japan, it was a warning to the world. And America knew it. Every additional bomb dropped would not only destroy Japan, it would demonstrate dominance. It would show that the United States could reshape civilization at will. Had Japan delayed surrender even 2 more weeks, history would record more nuclear cities, names we would memorize, photographs we would never forget. Tokyo itself was considered, so was Yokohama, so was Kokura again. Each strike would have compounded radiation effects, infrastructure collapse, famine, social breakdown. This would not have been war, it would have been extinction by schedule. The surrender came on August 15th. The emperor spoke, the bombs stopped. But the production lines did not shut down immediately. Neither did the plans, because now the nuclear age had begun, and the United States stood alone at its center. What if Japan had not surrendered? The answer is brutally simple. The third bomb would have fallen, then the fourth, then the fifth. By November 1945, the United States could have possessed up to 7 atomic weapons, each one deployed without resistance, each one reshaping the map. Japan's population centers would have collapsed. Millions would have died, not instantly, but slowly. Radiation sickness, starvation, infrastructure failure. The invasion might never have been necessary. There would be nothing left to invade. And the precedent would have been set, nuclear weapons as normal instruments of war. Other nations would follow faster, with less restraint, with less fear. The world narrowly avoided that future, not through mercy, but timing. Japan surrendered just before America proved it could destroy a nation repeatedly. That fact changes how we understand 1945. It reframes Hiroshima and Nagasaki not as tragic endpoints, but as warnings. Because the United States did not stop at 2 bombs by choice. It stopped because it didn't have to continue. Today, we remember mushroom clouds as symbols of horror. In 1945, American planners saw them as solutions. The United States emerged from World War II not just victorious, but godlike in power. Its economy dwarfed the world. Its military spanned oceans. Its weapons could end civilizations. And for a brief, terrifying moment, it considered using that power again, and again, and again. History was decided in days, in intercepted messages, in closed meetings, in one imperial broadcast. If that surrender had come later, the nuclear shadow over humanity would be far darker than it already is. This is not speculation. These were real plans, real bombs, real targets. And the only thing that stopped them was a voice on the radio saying the war was over. The atomic age began with 2 explosions. It could have begun with 5, and the world would never have been the same.